In this video, we are going to improve the way we create a post. When I click on the create post, as you can see, this is the form. But ideally, we want to use a special editor called WYSIWYG. And that is, what you see is what you get. Because of that, we are going to use a package called React Query. So let's go ahead and install this package. I'll go ahead and then copy that and back to my terminal, and that is inside my React application. Let me paste that, and that is npm I react-query. So let me hit enter. So instead of this ugly form, we are going to use some special editor, as I've just said, called what you see is what you get. So now let me go ahead and then rerun the server and let's configure it. Remember, we are going to use one editor, and that editor, the user can provide the title by highlighting or formatting it, at the same time provide description. Because of that, we need to have one field, and that is just the description about the post. So we need to modify the backend, because as it stands right now, it accepts both the title and then the description. So let's go ahead and then configure that, and that is inside the post model, which is this. Let's remove the post title as that. Therefore, we need to modify the controller also for the creation of the post. For this one, we don't need the title, so here remove it, and we don't need the check-in for the post also, and remove this one. That is the configuration that we need to make at the moment. So let's go ahead and then configure it to use the WYSIWYG editor. So back to the front end. Here we are going to import or require that package. So let's get into the post and then create post. And let me close this, and let's require that package as React Query. And I have the import here. Because of that, we need to modify the way we are handling the form. So for this one, let's remove the title and then remove the title also here from the validation. And here also remove that. And last step is that we need to modify the creating of the post API. So back to the API services, and under the create, we don't need the title here as that, and that is it. So let's go ahead and then configure it. I'm going to remove everything from the form, but let's maintain this one for displaying of the error message. So I'm going to remove everything from here. So let's go ahead and use that package as React Query, as self-closing, as that, or as a component. And inside, we're going to pass in some props or attributes so that we can take what the user is typing in to be able to send to the server. So here we will need what is called value, and we can get it from the formic dot values dot description, and then we will need what is called onChange handler. For this one, we're going to pass in a callback function as that, and then inside here we have access to the value. So inside here we are going to update the state. Therefore, we need to have internal state for managing this particular component called WYSIWYG. So up here, I will say state for the WYSIWYG, and it goes like this, and which is equal to useState. By default, it is empty. So here as description, and then set description. All right. So inside the onChange for the React Query, we are going to update the description. So here we will say set description, and then we're going to pass in the value from the WYSIWYG, and that is the React query. And we need to attach or bind this particular field to the form. So we're going to use formic dot set field value, and the value here is going to be description, and then comma the value for that as value. And that is it. So here we are displaying the error as that. All right, so now if I go to create, now let's see, we have something happening, meaning that the CSS is not being applied. So let's go ahead and use the CSS. Scroll down and you're gonna see the import of the CSS, which is this, and let's bring it up here as that. All right, so let's see, and now we have something like this. How cool it is. Let me create this post, and I will say React.js for beginners. And then I'm going to bold or give this one as H1, and I will say some content here. And let's create. All right, it has been created, and let's look at the list of posts. And down here, we see it being rendered as raw HTML. So we need to find a way to display this one correctly by applying these HTML tags. Because of that, we are going to use what is called dangerously set inner HTML on the HTML div. So let's go ahead and then implement that. So let's get back to the post list. This is where we are displaying the content. As it stands right now, we don't have the title of the post, but instead we have the description. If you check inside the database, we're going to see it as this. So the way we display it with the normal text will be different. Because of that, we are going to use what is called dangerously set inner HTML. And this is how we are going to do it. We are going to bring in div. And this div is going to be self-closing as that. And then inside, we are going to inject the content. So here we will bring in what is called dangerously inner HTML. And over here, we are going to set the property. And then I'll bring in one curly braces and then underscore HTML and then colon and then provide the value. And the value can be found on the post.description, which is this. Now I can remove this one and let's see the differences now. And this is what we have. We have React.js for beginners and some content. As you can see, we have this one being messed up because this content is not from the WYSIWYG. So let me trash these guys and let's focus on this. So if I go ahead and create one more post and I will say Node.js, and let me have some dummy content as lorem here, and let me copy this, and back here I'm going to paste that and then increase the font for this, supposed to be this one instead, and then let me number this one, and also let me provide some italic, and let me try, and let's get back to list of all posts, and as you can see, it worked fine. How awesome it is. So guys, this is how we can implement the WYSIWYG editor. Let's continue in the next video.